Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Inside Gaming Podcast, where we talk all about video games. We got a lot to talk about this week. I'm Brian, your host. Here's the rest of the crew.
I'm Alana.
I'm Caden.
And it's me, Evan Campbell, at Darth Burrito, ready to talk about all of the video game news from the week. Let's get it.
Your intros make me very happy.
I love it.
I know.
You gotta come with the fire, you know. I get to be on here once a week. I gotta shine as bright as I possibly can.
You know what? You're not wrong.
That's right. You got to get over.
Shoot your shot, Evan.
First up, let's talk NBA 2K21 unskippable ads. They're back. They put them into basically the load screens, which brought up a whole host of problems because they're unskippable. It seems like the load screens are waiting just long enough for the ad to finish, and NBA 2K21 is going to cost $70 on next-gen consoles, so you get to pay full price for full ads. It's fantastic.
Yay!
Yeah.
It's exactly what everybody wants.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, have they done this before?
Yes.
Yeah,
this is the second time they've done it, at the very least.
They did it in 2K19. They did it, I think, in 2K20. So this is not new for the franchise. And then they came out and apologized, kind of, for how they were
sort of
implemented. Yeah, but they didn't say they were going to get rid of them. They just said it was very strange. But yes, they're definitely here. They came out after people got mad, and they tweeted, "As many are aware, in recent years, ads have been integrated into 2K TV segments. Yesterday's 2K TV ad placement impacted our players' experience in a way we didn't intend," which raises a lot of questions. "As these ads are not meant to run as part of the pregame introduction, this will be fixed in future episodes. Thanks for your continued feedback." So a lot of loopholes in that apology.
Such a non-apology.
Right,
welcome
right.
to the sorry, not sorry.
We're sorry you're
2K.
mad. That's what they were saying.
Yeah.
We're sorry you got offended by us actually charging you $70 for a commercial.
Yes,
Look, I've been
Come on.
worried about this for a really long time in video games, and it's like my biggest fear with Stadia, which I know I've spoken to you about, Caden, is like the idea that they could just put an ad before you get to see a cutscene or something. And I feel like it's almost inevitable because there is so much money in advertising that surely publishers are like, but we could just make them watch shit. Why don't we just... They're already there. They spend so much time looking at these.
Yeah.
Like it feels inevitable because of how obviously profitable it is. And as a result, I think we should all be burning the system down at even the sight of this. Like this needs to be a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
this
this
is good.
needs to be burned down regardless.
This just, again, proves the fact that, it's like as much as there is money in games, there's a lot more money in advertising. There's a lot more money in data. There's a lot more money in all of that stuff. And they can make so much more. I mean, what was the game that was re-released again and again with basically copy paste on the Switch? It was another sports title. They literally keep releasing.
I believe
the same
it's called
game
Mario, Super Mario.
Mario
Very
Tennis,
popular.
They just keep bringing them out.
Yeah, but it's cost effective to just put in a bunch of ads because they're going to make a ton of money off of that over, even the extra $10. I know everybody's talking about that too. It's an extra $10. That money's not going to developers. That money's not going to anything other than like lining the pockets of people in the higher up positions. Yeah, that's all that is. It's not actually going to be doing anything. So this is just more lining of, the higher ups pockets. That's all this is. It's not going to end up trickling down. There is no benefits to having these ads in there for anyone in the bottom line. This helps nobody.
They would
and only
argue
hurts.
they would argue that they need that extra money because games are so expensive to develop these days, which is funny because a lot of these sports games are just kind of cut and paste jobs from the year before. But
to be fair, still very expensive to develop. A lot of people required to make
that's
them.
Right. That's right.
And I don't want
they've somehow managed to do it for all these years previously.
Right, and I know it's a huge thing with FIFA. Like, I don't want to take respect away from the dev teams who do definitely work hard on making these games. However, at a certain point, you can only tell me so many times that games are more expensive when your CEO's bonus is over $1 million.
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Nope, not my problem.
There's also the other element here of like, have y'all ever tried to force game developers to put unskippable ads in their game? It's expensive. That mechanic alone is it's going to be pricey.
True.
The thing is about these games is it is a captive audience in the sense of if you want to play a basketball sim in 2020, NBA 2K is basically the only place to go. Now, I'm not a huge NBA 2K player, but I think the core game itself, from what I hear, is pretty good. But yeah, they've got you kind of over the barrel. They've got the NBA license, so you've got to come to them. 2K knows that, hence the unskippable ads.
I'm so surprised we haven't seen a different version of like arcade basketball, or they might be out there. I'm not in the loop. I'm not like I stopped playing after NBA Jam, but I'm surprised there isn't more like NBA Jam clones. You know what I mean? Like I think like when basketball got realistic, I think it was like
with sort of generic players.
Yeah. Or yeah,
it's because of like it's the licensing rights. You know, it's like that's where the value is. It's like, hey, look, we have FIFA. That is a brand on top of it being like an entire league of things. It's NBA, same way, same thing every single time, and it's just, I mean,
but like NBA Street and stuff, like that stuff is like
it's still,
existed
it's
and it
still
worked, you know?
you still have to get players to sign on. You still have the NBA logo. It's still all about that, and people know the NBA. If you just put basketball game, then not a lot of people are going to jump on. People like latching onto a
I don't know, maybe I like the sound of basketball game. Maybe I want to hear you out.
We didn't get a Mutant League basketball, did we? We got football and baseball.
Just make a game called generic basketball game, and if it's good enough, I guarantee you it would take
Untitled
off.
Goose Game.
Yeah, there you go.
Untitled.
It's like basketball. All right, coming from Inside Gaming later this year.
But I do always wonder with like sports games specifically. I know it's a thing with FIFA, how much money they spend on the licenses as well. Like these games in theory are more expensive to make, probably not than something like GTA 5, but they are very expensive to make by virtue of needing rights to use the likeness of every single player that they have and that brand association. Like I know it's a massive thing with FIFA and PES, where FIFA really did overtake PES, where PES was in the lead initially. Due to likenesses, basically, they basically were able to use real players and real clubs, and PES has a way around it. You can just name the clubs whatever you want, but it's not the real football clubs, which is off-putting obviously to fans. So that stuff has to be really expensive.
Yeah, change the colors or whatever. Yeah,
I looked it up. It is FIFA. FIFA has basically literally almost verbatim copy and pasted the exact same game on Switch since FIFA 18. So FIFA 21, same game with actually features removed based off of the user scores and reviews here.
Oh my God.
It's got mind you, it's got a 0.2 user score on Metacritic.
Yikes! What's the critic score?
The critic score, there's not enough for
0.3. They didn't like it much either.
There's not enough reviews to have a full critic score, but IGN gave it a 20 and Nintendo Life gave it a 20. So,
wow.
Some outlet, I think, just cut and pasted their old review.
Yes,
from
exactly.
The year before,
Which was
very clever.
If they're cutting and pasting it, then we're going to keep cutting and pasting it as well.
We're going to do it too, yeah.
You'll love to see it.
Jeez. Yeah, there was.
I do kind of miss the old school, just like Bases Loaded or Blades of Steel or RBI Baseball.
Blades of Steel was good.
Where it was just kind of generic teams, or they might use just country teams or whatever. But now it's just all whoever has the license kind of makes the popular game for that sports league. And I do miss a little bit more variety in these things.
I mean, can you imagine if EA didn't own Star Wars? If they didn't have that license for games? And since they've had that license, they've only come out with like 2? Three?
No.
Like they've been more mobile games, but like generally speaking, just not as many as they should have had.
It was three main ones, which was Battlefront, Battlefront 2, and 4. Battlefront 2, Squadrons, Jedi Fallen Order.
But they've published other Star Wars games before they owned it, like the.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this current deal is
now they have it all, baby.
Yeah, now they have it.
Just could have been so much more and so many different people working on stuff. At least they have Respawn, I guess. But I did also want to mention on the topic of the NBA situation, EA did it pretty recently with advertising in games with UFC.
Right.
And I think it's in replays. This was linked in the story you put in there from website Stave. Shout out to Stave, it's an Australian website. This is also written by Luke Laurie, who's an Australian journalist. I'm friends with. Hi, Luke.
Nice.
Friend of the show. Friend of the show.
Watch out for
Friend of the show. There you go. There it is.
So the EA quote is, after people were very upset about the ads in UFC 4. It is abundantly clear from your feedback that integrating ads into the replay and overlay experience is not welcome. The advertisements have been disabled by the team, and we apologize for any disruption to gameplay that players may have experienced. And I think that's like, this is what we want here. Again, please, everyone, be very upset about this.
Yeah.
Or it is going to be in everything you play. It is going to stop being in story-based games. You are going to have to watch ads all the time. We don't want this.
No.
This is not good.
Even try it. It's so frustrating.
And weirdly, grossly, you've kind of come to expect it in sports games because when you watch sports on TV, it's just soaked with advertisements. But yeah, I wouldn't want to see it in the next Spider-Man game or Uncharted.
You don't want to pay. Yeah, you don't want to pay $70 and then have to watch an ad.
Yeah.
However, I was playing Among Us on my phone because it's crossplay.
Yeah.
And
So
it's free.
It's free.
Yeah.
And at the end of a round, it'll play a very short ad. Or you can pay $2 and no ads. And that's it. I feel like that's
different. You're getting something.
Right.
Yeah.
There are
And it's more
definitely
accepted on the mobile market. Like there are apps that I use that have ads that I could buy it, but I don't use them enough, so I just deal with the ads. Like the photo editing app that I use on my phone is called Pixlr. It's great.
I use the same thing. Yeah.
I really like it. Really good app. And I don't pay for it, so I just, whenever I export a photo after I've edited it, I just have to watch maybe like a 5-second thing sometimes that is very easy to ignore.
But
and I think
again,
that's okay because it's free.
It's a free thing and you're watching a very short ad and that's it. This is $70 for a game, and please watch the ad. And again, I stated it in a previous podcast. If that $10 actually went towards the developers, the people making the game, the people actually pushing the tech and making this possible, I'd be totally fine. But it doesn't, and it won't.
Somehow
so I'm
it
mad.
never does, and it never will.
Never does.
I feel somebody had a great idea that we should. This is in relation to Star Wars. Alana was talking about EA owning Star Wars. We as a country should nationalize Star Wars, and they become the property of the U.S. government. It was made here.
Oh, I don't know
Anybody
about
can make a Star Wars property.
I don't know about that part.
No, anybody can make a Star Wars property, and it goes back into the national coffers, whatever revenue you make. Maybe there's some sort of revenue share. But all the sports leagues, we allow them to basically run at monopolies, or like especially baseball, just this sort of unchallenged. It totally violates antitrust laws, but we've allowed baseball to carve out an exception. So cool. Then anybody should be able to make a baseball game. And same with the other leagues too.
Yeah, for a
it's
while,
so much
there,
red tape between even just one player's likeness, let alone an entire team and numbers, like jersey
hasn't there
numbers.
not been a baseball game on Xbox for a really long time because of something to do with the rights of MLB?
Yeah, it's been on like Sony, right?
It's only been on PlayStation.
MLB The Show.
There's a cat.
Yeah.
I think they've just not even had a baseball game on Xbox that's been like in any way competitive or appealing because of something to do with the amount of rights that MLB The Show owned.
The licensing stuff is so wild. I remember being at Spike and like a digital like subsidiary, just like not even that well known of a channel, made a FIFA game. They used like the official like soccer club's colors and team names in the thing. And like as an editor, I was tasked with blurring every single number and player name shown in that clip. And I was like, we can't do this. This is impossible. This is going to take you 4 weeks just to do one team. Like,
no.
Ronaldo's rich. He can afford lawyers.
Yeah.
Even NCAA players. That's why we haven't had NCAA games for years, because the players are like, hey, wait, you're using my likeness. Why am I not getting any money from this?
Yeah, they ended up having to
and they were right to do it.
I mean, yeah, it's fair. If you're going to use somebody's name and likeness, then you should be paying them. But if you don't want to pay them and you don't want to have that overhead there, then I mean, the plain and simple answer is then either make a different game or just make it generic sports game. Which again,
create a wrestler
can't wait to play that.
Yeah.
Which is what happened with Avengers, right? Like they just didn't want to use their likenesses, so they just make generic Captain America.
They didn't have Robert Downey Jr. money. To,
Oh
Yeah.
no, what a shame.
All right. Well, let's move on to another huge story. Twitch. There was a bloodbath this week. Lots of people got letters, lots of streamer partners got letters basically saying, hey, we deleted your video from Twitch. We deleted your video. It had copyrighted music in it. You can't appeal this. This is a one-time warning. And also, if you think you have copyrighted music in your old videos, you should delete those too, because we're getting pressured from the music industry to take these down. But it's been huge and a crazy story that all of a sudden Twitch just kind of decided to crack down on this, and kind of nuts.
It just keeps happening. We're in a cycle of DMCA takedowns over and over again with Twitch, and I just wish they had more options. So like, I don't ever use licensed music on anything that I do on Twitch, so I've not gotten in trouble for that. But every time that I have DJ'd on Twitch, which is twice, 3 times.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
Well, I've done it with license-free music, so royalty-free music.
Royalty-free beats, yeah.
But it doesn't matter. They will still... I get shadow banned for like 10 days afterwards, meaning that anytime that I stream, it doesn't push notifications to anyone. They will only find me if I posted about it on social media. Otherwise, it says I'm offline on the channel page. You cannot find my streams, which is so weird because there's no official comment on it. But it happened literally every single time I've streamed music the day after. You're like, this is clearly Twitch trying to do something about this. But there are so many like... A, wish they would be more transparent with people and not just drop these randomly all the time and give them a few more options for what they should do. B, I do think that there is more onus on streamers to stop using licensed music, to understand the platform you're on and the legalities of that platform and take some responsibility for it. Don't play Britney Spears and then complain that you got in trouble for playing Britney Spears when it's against the law, you know? But then the third part is I wish the music industry would also shift to understand that people streaming your music during a stream is beneficial to you in some ways.
Yes.
You know, it's like
they've done
radio.
multiple stories even about piracy that ultimately I think it's like, I don't know about games, but in a lot of other media that it's not necessarily a bad thing. It generates interest for your product.
The other issue there is that, I mean, and YouTube is no better in this way, in any way, shape, or form. It happens constantly. But video games use licensed music in them all the time. So it's like, what if you're playing a game, cutscene plays? It's like, well, that's going to get me dinged every single time.
Right.
And then there's like, there are specific streamers who do things like, I play Rock Band, or, you know, I do karaoke, but it's the game. It literally is the game. The music has been licensed for the game
through the game, purposes. But not to you.
Right. Yeah. But there are things that like, that's all in place. And it's just like, well, there are streamers specifically who do those types of things. And it's like, there has to be something to protect streamers in some sort of way.
It works on YouTube. Like on YouTube, if I stream something that has licensed music in it, it will just be demonetized and they will get revenue. They will put ads on it and they will get revenue. I'm like, fine, do that. That's okay. Just don't give my channel a strike or remove it. Like, I don't know why Twitch can't use that system. And maybe it's like there is genuinely a fine print that I just don't understand. But for me, it seems like a policy choice.
Remember when I said that it's good to burn down the establishment like frequently? This is like
hell yeah,
the best.
Go on.
This is the best
I'm
case
interested.
scenario for this. Like everything you guys addressed, I think, is like very poignant and on point and like concise with the modern world that we live in. But it's so messed up that we have to have this conversation. Like, there's no contingency in which these people don't want control of all of these licenses. They want control of that distribution, whether you hearing it. It's like almost as if you were like hearing it from someone's car stereo when they're driving by. If a record exec could get hands on like a way to monetize that, they would. And it's completely messed up. Like the scenarios you provided, Caden, where it's like there's licensed music in here. In games that we're playing, like, and you're trying to stream those, where the video game industry understands how like this type of distribution to an audience, it's like more like a demo for them. It's
Nintendo.
Yeah, except Nintendo, and also except Nintendo. Persona. When Persona came out, you were only allowed to stream.
But that was because of spoilers. So I feel a little bit differently about that one.
That was because of spoilers. But they do that the same. They've done that so many times, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
But we are also using their content to make content that we profit from. Like,
that's the part about stream. Yeah, you're streaming with copyrighted content too. I mean, just with a game. But
All right, just
could
moving
argue,
to just chatting.
but you could argue, and I think accurately, that you're making a new type of content because you're playing it, you're talking over it. There's commentary, you're interacting, but
It's
yeah,
transformative.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Which, if you're not familiar, that's generally how like a lot of news sites and stuff get around, and games journalists and stuff get around that kind of stuff for reviews and things like this. Why like a lot of game reviews use game music from the game inside the review to help prevent that kind of copyright strike situation. But the thing is, these algorithms are flawed. They're made by people. You can get dinged for something that maybe is not even supposed to be flagged. I've seen a number of times where indie developers content gets dinged for content ID on YouTube or Twitch, and they're like, we don't understand what's going on. We don't know why this is happening. And it's like a whole process. And if you're the user on the YouTube side or the Twitch side, and you're just going to get hosed because they don't care ultimately about you, even if you're like sort of big as a streamer. Like they are beholden to the law that's been influenced by record executives for many years, right? Like they are beholden to these people with lots and lots of money and also Twitch now being owned by Amazon, a multi-billion-dollar company, is super liable for any of these, and any of these big major record companies can just come and say like, hey, we're coming for you. You're in breach, DMCA, and you now owe us millions of dollars. And that's the one thing that Amazon specifically doesn't want. Like,
but why can they not just do the YouTube thing? Like, I do stream on Twitch, but I still feel like I'm less familiar with the platform because I've not done it very much, like overall. Is it because I'm not partnered or affiliate, which means ads don't run on my content? Is that the problem? Like, because ads can run on anything on YouTube. I guess maybe they can't if you are under a certain threshold either, though. So, is that why they're like, no, you have to get rid of it? Because if they just wanted to take a licensed song and monetize that VOD, go for it. But they won't do that. They'll take them down instead.
I think that Twitch just, or I should say, I'm not going to say Twitch. I'm going to say Amazon. I don't think Amazon fully understands it, and they just want to protect themselves as a corporation. That's it.
Legally gray too. The technology of streaming is like relatively new. There isn't a ton of legal history on which you can make, legal argumentation against or for. So it's relatively new. So they don't know what, they just know that, music industry or big industry, copyright holder, like law is like a big deal, and these people can come at you. And if you don't know like all the details, you might be liable for this stuff. So it's better to blanketly remove it, right? So that you're not liable until you can figure out a more concise way to kind of make your users happy and also kind of weave around these like legal red tapes. But honestly, the entirety of Twitch as a concept is built on a house of cards. Like you're saying, like, yes, the game industry has been relatively cool with the licensing of like streaming games and stuff. But at any point, as we've seen, they can try and enforce that. And the audience usually isn't happy, but they can try and pull that like, hey, we own this content, you're not allowed to stream it.
It didn't work very well for Nintendo. They had to pull it back.
No,
And they had to
yeah,
right. Like,
they definitely had to
technically,
walk
we
that back.
wouldn't have a position to complain. Like if
Yes.
the games industry at large wanted to rein in that content and say, we made this content, stop streaming it. And I know it has hurt some devs too. I interviewed a whole bunch of studios about how they think that, the overall thesis is not necessarily that concise, but ultimately that Twitch has potential to hurt single player games because people are watching more multiplayer games, and that's because the content is consistently new by virtue of the other players creating the content rather than the devs having to create new maps and new whatever all the time. It's the other players who create fresh experiences, which means that they free run. It's also fun to watch. That's what a lot of people play because it's competitive, and a lot of people watch because you're watching competition. But then there's also the other side of it, and I know it happened specifically with the game called That Dragon Cancer, where they did well on services like YouTube, but did not do well in terms of sales because people preferred to watch that game than to necessarily play it. And I think there's certainly an issue there where I would support devs over online content creators, even being one myself, in terms of like, well, if I'm going to do a let's play of this game, I'm going to tell you where you can buy the game. And with the situation like That Dragon Cancer being a really small studio, a really heartfelt game, it seems like there should be some kind of way that you can like link to a purchase in a description or something, or have to even, because a lot of content creators won't do that, where if you finish that game in its entirety in a video, that you at least ask people to give the dev $1 or something. Because in situations like that game, they really got screwed by that happening, which you could also say is their fault, maybe because people didn't find the gameplay compelling enough to buy it themselves. But
Yeah.
a lot of gray areas across the board.
Here's a fun update. Alex Hutchinson, the creative director of Google Stadia, just tweeted on this topic: streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they used music they didn't pay for should be more worried by the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it. That's the shot. Here's the chaser. Stadia begins testing YouTube live streaming and crowd play.
Yeah.
What a
work?
smarmy way to like slide that in there.
But
It's
either way,
like,
you think you're not going to be beholden also to the same music industry that's
again,
polluted, like,
YouTube's no better in a lot of ways. It's like, yes, it does have its pros and cons, just like Twitch does, but there is dings to be had here and there with any platform you're on. And there really is nothing truly protecting content creators at all in almost any capacity on any platform. There's some stuff there, but then on top of that, as far as the music industry is concerned, pretty much the entire music industry is flawed and broken anyway.
Yeah,
And the
gosh,
people
it's
who
so
actually
messed up.
make the
In
music
agreement.
and actually do the work anyway, they don't get paid. But again, all this DMCA stuff is protecting is just the mega corporations who are profiting off of everything. So who is this for? What are we doing this for? If we're doing this to protect the people who created the music, good, fine, great, let's do it. Oh wait, it's just for money purposes for, again, the super rich people at the top, then fuck them. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, and Brian, you had a great point. This is the part that frustrates me too, is like from the outset, Twitch could have in their policies and stuff and their user agreements been like a little more specific about, hey, you shouldn't use this licensed content or avoid away. But they've just been reaping in the benefit from it. Like if top streamers are playing music that everybody loves to hear, or it's like Snoop Dogg or whatever, I don't know. I'm out of touch with the kids.
Well, everyone does love Snoop Dogg.
I mean, everybody
Yeah, you're
loves
right.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg.
That's
Not
right.
wrong.
That's why I said Snoop is
An
safe
artist I know.
Yeah. But like they benefit from that because everybody's having a good time, whatever. You're getting more viewers because of this, and they just wait and to just drop it on the end user like this, be like, it's your problem, like this is your problem now, help us solve this, please, before everybody gets to
Yeah, it feels like they're more than happy to collect that revenue and keep it going as long as they can until they get letters from lawyers, and then Twitch is like, well, we're just passing this along, we got to do it. And it's like, no, you could have informed your streamers, especially your partners and the people making you the most money. It just, I feel like most of what people were upset about is they're not getting a lot of communication from Twitch, or they could be doing a better job. And I do feel like they have some responsibility to essentially their employees. I know they're not technically their employees, but the people making them money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think there are responsibilities across the board. It's Twitch is bad at communicating.
Yeah.
Streamers need to understand that you legally can't play licensed music and stop freaking out like you've never heard it before.
Listen, I've gotten into the habit of anytime I play a game, doesn't even matter. I mean, this goes back to like, doing, it's like content with Achievement Hunter and everything like that. We'd mute Minecraft. We just mute Minecraft music just because
GTA.
It's just one of those things. It's like, you just
GTA,
do it.
God,
GTA. I mean, GTA, absolutely. But even things like, look, Minecraft's music is Minecraft's music. We still had to mute that stuff because if you didn't, then it's like an entire huge long Minecraft Let's Play, which bread and butter, boom, all that revenue gone. It's like, ugh. It's
that is a great point about
viable.
those blurred lines, like about licensed music in games that you ostensibly have a right to play, but who the hell knows?
Yep.
Yeah, I think the part that hurts the most for me is, I mean, I know like Twitch was ducking like audio, right, when they found stuff before and just like muting streams and stuff like that. But I think like the part that sucks about not giving streamers a heads up is like there could be like memorable moments that they had or community moments that they had that are just, they just deleted them. Like they're just gone now. They didn't give them a chance to
locally,
archive
baby.
that stuff. Like even if it was like originally not legal for them per se to have that licensed music, they still had that recording. It was still being held in the VOD section, right, in their service. like on Twitch as a platform and as a service, they should have had a chance to pull that stuff down just so they can have it. I don't know. Like that sucks. As a content creator, that's kind of what frustrates me.
As someone who uses Twitch in a very unusual way, and that my user experience on Twitch, rather than like the content creator experience, is that all I actually do is go in and harass my friends in their chats and then leave. Most people don't have a lot of friends who stream, so that's not necessarily normal. I guess this is a thing that we could actually look up, but I don't know if any of you know or if you have a consensus. Do you actually watch Twitch VODs?
Sometimes.
Honestly,
sometimes.
Just little clips, little tiny clips.
For esports, I spend a lot more time on Twitch, like going through, I think especially for esports, let's say like somebody got a multi-kill or like a pentakill or something wild they did in game or ranked, and they were listening to music at the time, and then that moment is just gone. Maybe they didn't have a backup. That would really suck, because those moments are like, they just don't just like happen. It's like a mixture of luck and skill and like this perfect moment in time for like a highlight or something like that to exist. And
if I want a highlight to exist of anything that I stream, I just record it locally as well.
Yes,
for sure.
Which I hope that they would do. But my question is more like, with things being muted, I know they'd mute entire streams rather than the correct segments, which is definitely a thing that sucks too. Like not giving creators more precise control over that kind of thing can really hurt that content. Yeah. I just don't know how significant VODs are, or like how many people engage with VODs. I'm sure it's a lot.
Yes.
But I imagine most people are still watching that content live. Like majority, I've never watched a VOD on Twitch.
Yeah.
I've only ever consumed live content. So I've just not like, is that, like I've seen people this week say, by having these videos removed, you've removed my life's work. And I was like, well, is the product not a live product?
Well, the thing is also that Twitch is locking content creators into their platform. They don't want you posting those VODs on YouTube, right? And that's part of the terms of being a partner is that you can't.
No, you are allowed to do that.
Are you allowed to do it now, like the archive stuff?
You have to wait like 24 hours. I think.
Okay, so now it's delayed like that. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But
and the thing is like, other people will come in and take the clip and upload it. We saw that happen with AOC streaming Among Us. My entire feed was like, here's this clip, but you can't necessarily do that. You can't do that. So other people are getting all that engagement.
And that's an interesting one, because if Among Us were to say you can't stream our content, you don't have the right to do it, we'd all have to be like, yeah, okay.
All right.
But then the extra layer to that
we
is
won't
then.
Yeah.
The extra layer to that is then, in theory, AOC can't say you don't have the right to share this video of me, because anyone is allowed to do that as well.
Yeah.
Just this ongoing layer of people allowed to share other people's content.
Actually, there's more and more. There you go.
It's
like as you peel back a layer, then there's more layers to get through.
And it's one of those things where I think the laws haven't caught up to the technology or the culture, and they haven't for a while.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
they're legal. There are plenty of deep fakes of me, and it's so weird. But generally, a thing that I don't try to take any action on. I'm like, okay, have fun. I'm gonna ignore that. But even if I wanted to, there's nothing I could do about that. People can do whatever they want with my face.
They just and
I don't even know my face
with your likeness, with your
It's crazy. Sometimes they use audio in them, and it's a lot.
Messed
it's a lot.
up.
But there's nothing that you can do about it. And I just feel like the internet just got so out of control so fast with that kind of thing. And the way that it can be used,
that's right.
Like I just to get very deep on it, I just don't.
Yeah,
it's like truth doesn't exist anymore. Like what? Genuinely, anyone can doctor anything. Anyone can control anything. Literally, what is truth on the internet anymore? Who fucking knows?
Nothing is real.
We have
Everything
a
is permitted.
a mass political movement built on a troll from 4chan who is completely fake, and it's almost going to take over a major political party. It's completely nuts.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on and talk about Smash Ultimate. We have some news. Last week they came out with Alex and Steve from Minecraft. What could go wrong? Wholesome Minecraft. Well, perfect. Not a problem at all. Huh. Well, in the victory screen for Steve, he eats his steak, his little bit of meat, and then in the freeze frame after, he holds the meat right over his crotch in a very suggestive position. And it was very weird. It's
one of my
hard
favorite
to
stories of the year.
It's great, and yeah,
such a non-story.
I know, but we had to
nothing.
we have to report on this.
That's important.
Such a
Steve's dick is
nothing.
important, Caden. Okay.
Such a nothing.
Do you guys think? And they took it out this week, but do you guys think that was intentional? Was that a
No.
coder just playing around, or was it an accident?
No, because
No.
that's that would be the height that Steve actually holds that at. Like it would be accurate. It's the camera angle being
Yeah,
it's the
specific to
camera
Smash
angle
that
and- yeah.
Okay.
pushes it that way. So it's not intentional at
But
all.
No, it's
Somebody
just
saw
how
that.
Minecraft looks and works, and that's it.
Multiple people saw that before it went. There's no way it was gonna stay in the game.
As soon as I saw a
tweeted
picture of
about
it, I was like, "Oh, that looks like a dick."
Yeah,
Like just
yeah.
because of the placement. So there was like no question that like I don't know how that did get through and nobody thought about it, but maybe they were like, "Well, that's where he holds it. We're trying to be true to the game." Like, I don't know, but it's also not an issue. I kind of wish they'd kept it.
Sakurai,
Right.
yeah,
It's
just
one
in
of those
there
things that like you release something like that to the internet, and the internet's just going to be like, "Oh, well, we can make this worse."
Yeah.
It's one of those things like pre-internet though that would have just been in the game forever. Like they couldn't have updated it. It was just it would have
That's
become
true.
the hot coffee mod. or
Yeah, you're
something
right.
Like that. Yeah.
I just
weird
had
to
an
think about.
amazing like internal brain dream moment where it's like it adds to that narrative of like Sakurai was so unhappy with Minecraft Steve before
yeah,
they went
yeah.
gold.
Oh,
he
yeah,
jumped in
that's
there and
right.
swapped the
He
animation.
ordered someone
He's
to
like,
do that.
Yeah, you all can go home early tonight. It's fine. Just go home. I got this. I'll hit the button. We'll make this go live. And then he
It was
swapped the screen.
intentional.
Yeah.
I wonder if people at Mojang like Mojang. I believe it's pronounced Mojang, but I'm starting to say CD Projekt Red as well. And I'm like,
no.
but it sounds
no.
so wanky, even if it's technically correct. It's the same as like manga and manga. I'm like, just let me say manga. You know?
Yeah.
No.
I
Anyway,
like that you said wanky instead of wonky. Also, just adding layers and layers on top.
No more layers.
I wonder if they're protective enough of their brand that was a thing that caused panic on their end, or was it on Nintendo's end? Because
think
the
it's
interesting
both.
thing
I
about
think there's
Minecraft
some-
is you can make giant boobs in Minecraft if you want out of pixels, and they don't
Yeah.
stop that.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
but that's not something that they intend you to do, and that's not their character. Steve is their character. Steve's
somebody
the-
showed
Steve's
it
the
to-
recognizable. The
Somebody,
icon.
the editor of Kotaku showed it to Phil Spencer, and he was like, "Yeah, that's probably going to get fixed." So if Nintendo wasn't going to fix it before, I'm sure Phil made a call and said, "Yeah, we got to take that out."
I
Hey,
bet you money
Sakurai.
Phil wasn't the one who did that. Like they might have shown him, but I bet you he wasn't the one who did that. Phil's
Yeah,
so
Spencer
close
literally
to humor.
said, "quote unquote," "I assume that will be fixed."
Yeah.
And that's it. It's
And
like,
then he said, "But it's badass." Yeah.
But he's thick.
Oh man, yeah. There's no way they were gonna keep that in. As soon as I saw it, I tweeted, I was like, "This is coming out." There's no way.
I mean, the thing is like it really is just it's exactly what Steve. It's like exactly where they hold the thing. It's just it's a camera
It's just so
angle
weird
and a
and
meme.
the cropping
It's a
and
camera angle and a
everything.
meme, and that's it.
Yeah,
That's all it
that's
is.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, let's move on and talk about the PS5 because there was some controversy this week about the PS5, specifically an update. It was the new firmware update for the PS4, but it had to do with a new feature for the PS5, and it had to do with the fact that the PS5 can record your voice in the party chat. And specifically, it said it was kind of buried in the update. This is the 8.00 firmware update text. There was a section called About Party Safety. Sony wrote that voice chats in parties may be recorded and sent to us by other users. It added that by participating in voice chats, you agree to your voice being recorded. So people kind of got weird, like, wait a minute, is this like a thing? And there's been a history of many sort of smart devices in homes. Even the Xbox One got kind of busted for recording people. And then it turned out people behind the scenes were listening and transcribing. Sony came back and said, no, we're just using this for reporting, for basically as a tool to report abuse and inappropriate behavior. They said they'll not actively monitor or listen in on your conversations ever, strictly reserved for reporting online abuse or harassment. And I think they even specified to say that if somebody needs to file a harassment report, they can record a 40-second voice clip in that report, and only the most recent 5 minutes of a voice chat will be available for a player to use. So obviously brought up some privacy concerns. And honestly, they're kind of warranted. It's one of those things where companies can say all they want, at least in my mind. But if that functionality is there, we have seen in the past that a lot of the times they use that functionality.
Yeah, I feel like there isn't a story about any of the like at-home listening services, whether it's like Alexa, like Amazon's thing or Google's thing, or
little dolls, toy dolls that turn out to have a microphone.
If something has a microphone and it's connected to the internet, somebody is, I mean, I don't know how accidental it is, but accidentally collecting that data somehow, into a server and people are listening to it, I guess. Like there's multiple stories about it already in Xbox, obviously in the daily, when we reported the story, we talked about how there was like a lot of conversations of like kids and stuff being accidentally recorded or whatever. And, it's a stranger's job, or whoever Microsoft hired to like listen to this stuff to help, like you can't just build like an AI learning software or whatever and just like let it go wild. Like there's technicians and things and QA and people are paying attention to this stuff so they can make sure that their AI software is running properly. So eventually like real human beings are listening to this stuff. Right. And I think like the scarier part is like what the company that's like not a person is doing with the information and the data collection. Yes. And is there even like a massive way to interpret like what's being said on those microphones to make it an actionable thing for like marketing per se? I think we're learning that like in some cases there definitely are, but like, yeah, I don't know. This is, it's not like a news story in some ways. It's nice to hear that PlayStation is doing this as a means to like potentially curb like just toxic behavior on the internet, which is
question though, is it not specific to party chat?
I thought it was just party chat,
which means it's just people that you're in parties with, which means you've had to invite them, which means you probably know them. So the harassment thing is very strange here.
Yeah, there's
Can't
a lot
you
of
randomly get invited to a party though, or not randomly?
I don't think you have to be friends, but I think you have to accept. Like
you're right. That's true.
It's not just a random in a game.
Yeah, it usually has to happen. Basically, you can invite somebody to a party from the game and they have to accept the party invite.
Right.
And you can stay in that game and will still be there and everything like that. But it's like, yeah, I mean, you will genuinely, if you play a lot of online games, you'll probably get a bunch of like party invites to keep a group together.
But parties are also changing. Right, yes. Parties are changing now too. Like it's not just like 4 or 5 people. There's like a larger. You can have like a huge party, and when people are on, you can pair up with them. Like it's
they're more like a clan system.
Sort of, yes. There was like in one of the more recent
like a Discord server, more likely. It's just like, hey, here's a random group of people who just like we just so happen to tangentially know each other, and we've made a big group, and now there's more people getting added. And
I feel like a lot of the PS5 UI stuff looks like it's been inspired by Discord, which is great.
I mean, that's
not a bad Discord.
Yeah, in that PS5 like UI video, there's a disclaimer like, hey, party chat is changing. It's not just like this one specific thing anymore. It's like a place where you basically like a Discord server, and then people will jump into the chat or whatever. So that
interesting.
That it is like a much more public kind of a thing than just like the party chat situation. But
Caden brings up a good point too in terms of like I've back in the MMO days, it's like you would be in a good party or something, and then people would kind of invite you to a group. If you're very effective or something, just to buddy up and keep the.
If you got a good streak going, then you keep the group together. It's like if you're
used to do that with like Halo and done it with Apex a few times even.
Halo, Call of Duty, it's like pretty much anything that like has that competitive nature to it. It's like, oh hey, a Siege is another great one where it's like if you're in a groove with a bunch of people and you're just so happen to be playing with randoms, so it's like, hey, we did really good. Let's stick together.
I would never talk to them though.
See, I mean, you and I I'm right there with you. I would there's no reason to no. But it's like there's 2 parts to this. One, I like that they're taking the harassment thing very seriously.
Yes, that is.
I think that's super necessary, especially with everything that's been going on. Taking that harassment section very seriously is necessary. However, on the other side of things, everything monitors you. Everything with a microphone monitors you. I talked about it in the daily. It's like you have a webcam, you have a microphone, everything like that. Unplug it, turn it off, break it, throw it, and just like run away and jump into the woods because that's the only way that you could possibly like get not recorded by something. Because even if you're outside, just hanging out outside, there's something out there monitoring you're looking at. There's
your phone.
like There's your phone,
right.
there's security
You've
cameras.
had a
there's
device
something,
for 10 years that can
it's like if you
listen
have
to
another person standing next to you and they have a phone, who knows? It might be listening in. There's any way, shape, or form for it to, it's like a device to monitor you and catalog data about you or around you. It just does that. That's
right.
There's so much money in data. There's
It's
more
the
money
worst.
to learn about you as a person with the stuff that you look at or listen to or search or the things you say or all the things you put on camera and everything like that. All that data, super valuable to the mega corporations. Super ultra valuable, and they will pay for it. So if there is a recording of somebody somewhere and they're mass recording this stuff, even if it's like, oh, we only saved 5 minutes, it's like, yeah, but who's passing through that information?
Yeah.
Is there somebody, is there a way to interject in this? Is there a way to like possibly split this off somewhere and, use this in another way to help another feature for a different product? Well, let's learn about people that way. They will do it. They will absolutely do it because it's all about money and you are a commodity. You're not a person. You're a commodity.
You're the product.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it is, like, again, this is getting way too deep, but that we all do it so willingly. Like,
yes.
the product on Instagram is not things being sold to you. It is actually your data being sold to other people. So, their money doesn't come from the ads. I actually don't have ads in my Instagram feed. I never have. I don't know how I've somehow gotten away with that.
Very lucky.
Yeah, I'm always like, I don't know why this has happened, but I'll take it. But it's actually the other way around, that you constantly say where you are. That's why location tags exist. It's not a cool community feature. It's so they literally know where you are. And then you update like with tags of everything that you like. They see how often you update, how long you look for. The money is in you using the platform, not in the things you buy from the platform. They're just finding an extra way to monetize you. You are absolutely the thing that makes them money, and we do it so willingly.
Instagram is Facebook.
Yeah,
it's
you
just
are the
Facebook
product.
Lite.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
all it is.
Yeah,
no
I mean,
doubt.
I can bring this full circle because if companies can't listen to what you're saying to your friends, how else are they going to know what unskippable ads to put in your video games?
Exactly. I mean, we're using Zoom right now.
Yep, that's right.
I'm pretty confident OBS is not spying on me, though, so I feel good about
hopefully.
that.
Yeah.
It's probably doing a lot of other worse things.
Yeah, but
somehow, too.
that Logitech webcam might be spying on you. Who knows?
All right, let's go. Let's go to the questions, and right along those lines, I found a good one from Mystic8368. Do you think big tech companies, Google, Apple, Amazon, have good intentions entering the gaming space, or is it just another way for them to harbor, I think they mean gather, consumer data?
They don't give a shit about you. They want money. The end.
That's a good question. I think they want both.
Right.
I think they want to make good games that collect a lot of data about you.
I don't think they give a shit. They absolutely don't.
on the
I don't even
corporate
think
level-
they care about making a good game either. So long as they can make it like approachable for
I mean,
a
a
mass market
successful
audience.
game. I guess I
Yeah.
didn't mean good. Yeah.
I think I agree with Caden on a corporate level. Like, those initiatives exist because they recognize that that's a way for them to make money. But again, the people who are hired at those studios as like creative directors, like your Jade Raymond, like those people do care about making
They
money.
care. Yes.
So like they've been hired for profit, as is every megacorp. But
Yeah.
the people who have been hired probably do actually care about the product.
Yes, the people making the game care. The people who are, funding the game.
You're talking
They
about it
don't.
at 10,000 feet up level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Jack Fenton asks, what's a game you wish you liked, but don't?
Oh,
I'm gonna go
boy.
last.
Yeah. Oh, let's
I'm going last.
Oh,
I have an
wow.
ongoing feud with Alan Wake.
Okay.
I feel that. I understand you.
So
from
like,
that.
I don't dislike Alan Wake. I've made it much bigger than it is because it's the only one that comes to mind. And my biggest beef with it is that Alan hates his wife. So thus I always struggle. Like, I still finished the game twice, but I struggled to find the motivation to care because he's like, my stupid fucking wife.
Yeah,
What
yes,
a bitch. And I'm like, if you just complain about it all the time, Alan, I don't really care about finding her. And there's also like shit in that game, which like I love Remedy and I love Sam Lake. Like, he's so talented and I'm so glad they exist. But then there's like all this stuff in that game where like, you have to follow a path and then the camera like zooms in on a ladder and Alan's like, oh, there's a ladder. And I'm like, yeah, Alan, I'm capable of seeing let it go. Would you just stop talking so much? And I think it's just because it's a noir game. Alan Wake himself I'm just like, just stop talking. Just shut your mouth.
I've been that way about shows. Like the show itself is good, but something about the lead rubs me the wrong way, and so then I can't I can't fully.
Oh, like the Mad Men effect, where like how there's no like more protagonists in like modern like serialized television, where it's like it's more entertaining for us to watch like the machinations of like kind of a villain, more of a villain,
anti-hero,
and we like we give him the hero treatment, even though like dude's cheating on his wife
Breaking Bad. I mean, The Sopranos. I mean, all the best shows.
You literally listed all those shows. I hate all those shows.
Look,
Breaking Bad's my favorite TV show. Wow.
Didn't like Breaking Bad.
The Wire. I mean, The Wire. McNulty is like a rotten human being. He's just good at his job.
Yeah.
I certainly shouldn't say this on a podcast, but I would probably guess I would feel guilty. But I wish I liked Pokemon more. Like,
how dare you?
Especially with
hold on. I'm gonna remove Evan from the chat.
That's a personal affront.
It's not that I don't like Pokemon. Now. It's just I wish I liked it more. Like I see fans like Brian and Caden and even you, Alana, to a certain extent. Like I don't know.
I have 3 Pokemon tattoos, Evan. What do you mean, like Alana to an extent?
Her Twitter name is Charlana.
It's Charlanazar.
I heard that Caden has 7 tattoos and Brian also has.
Listen. This is the day the DLC, the Crown Tundra is coming out, and you come in here with that? How dare you?
On the day of the DLC, on the day of my daughter's wedding.
The day of my daughter's wedding.
Just a shame.
No, I get that. For me, it used to be Monster Hunter. But I finally got into it with Monster Hunter World. It was one of those things where the quality of life improvements managed to hook me. I think the main one, and it's not that I don't like it, I've just never, I probably just haven't invested the time, is Witcher 3. And I need to play. It's like a novel I wish I'd read or something. Because I believe it's good. I believe I'm going to love it. I just need to, sink the time into it. So that's probably the big one. And the Disgaea games.
Yeah.
Disgaea is so good. I love them.
I know. And I feel like I'll love them. Again, I just need to kind of sink the time. Totally different genre, but
I think Witcher 3
for me too, like I love Pokemon Go and stuff. I'm playing it, but just don't internalize the Pokemon and the knowledge in the game is just as much as like other fans do, like other people that I work with all the time. I'm just like, I wish I could be like you. Like
you can literally just say me, okay? Yeah. Like 90% of the Pokemon content on this channel is just me talking to the audience.
Very true. Yes.
I'm gonna say this one. I'm just gonna get roasted for it. Mass Effect. I just can't.
I've never played Mass Effect ever.
Yeah. I've tried to play Mass Effect 1 12 times.
Ooh.
I get to the ice planet, I get to the Mako, and I'm just like, I'm not having fun. And everybody, Gus Sorolla has told me multiple times, every person I've talked to is like, why don't you just skip the first game and play the second one? I'm like,
the first game's really good too, though.
Yeah, the thing is like,
great. I like that game a lot. You just gotta play it on easy.
It's just, the thing is I've played it on every difficulty. I've played it, it's just like, they're getting to that ice planet, getting into the Mako, and I'm just like, this is where I stop having fun, and it's hard to get over that hump.
Than someone not liking Pokemon, because I get people not liking Pokemon. Someone not liking Mass Effect doesn't make sense to me.
The thing is it's not okay. It's not that I don't like. It's not that I don't like. It's a game I wish I liked.
But if you weren't there for the time too, it's hard. Like of those,
I played it at launch.
Oh, okay.
And
I played it late. Didn't have a problem.
A lot of those 360 games I missed out on.
I played their first game
they're remastering them though.
Like back to back.
They're remastering them though. Maybe they'll fix that one section. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna give them my money one more time. I have it on.
It's not even that long. Okay.
I know. The thing is, it's like I want to play it. I really do. I've talked to friends countless times. Every time Mass Effect, my roommate is just like the biggest Mass Effect fan. They have the jacket. They have the prop gun and everything. It's just like, I just can't get past that one section of Mass Effect. You know what? All right, I'm gonna
get someone else to play that bit.
I'm gonna stream Mass Effect now. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna force myself to do it. If I do that, I'll force myself to do it.
I can't in good conscience recommend that Caden do that, because we know where this ends up. You end up with Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, I don't know what's waiting for at the
No,
the
I'm
end
not
of the
playing that
rainbow,
one. No.
right?
Didn't
3 have a bad ending?
Yeah, and 3's ending
like
is
controversial.
but
it's complicated.
It's complicated. Yeah, it's very complicated, and like you miss out on all the
I'm not playing
great
Andromeda.
Garrus buddy cop memes, and
I refuse to play Andromeda. That's my stopping point.
Yeah, Mass Effect
Andromeda
is real good. Yeah.
All right, I will play Mass Effect 1. I will complete it this time. I promise.
Please.
This is my promise
So
to you,
good.
specifically to you, Alana.
So
I will
good.
play it again. I'm so sorry. I will give it yet another try, especially if this HD remaster remake, whatever the hell it's going to be, comes out. I will give it another try, and I will play the whole trilogy.
There we go.
I'm not playing Andromeda.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
That's the
Okay.
most juice we've ever gotten out of a question. So thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack Fenton. We'll do a couple more. Jardazard asks, speaking of Pokemon, whether
My
it was
brother?
It's coming for your name. Yeah. Coming for your
whether
Twitch
it was
channel.
overhyped, broken, or just not what you thought it was going to be. What was the game that you were the most disappointed or let down by?
Brawl
I
Brothers for
have
Super
one.
Nintendo back in the day. I had a Game
Okay.
Pro. It had Brawl Brothers in it. It's a side-scrolling brawler. I waited for like a year for this game to come out, and I finally got it. And I was like, I guess Final Fight's still kind of better than this. Almost little bumps. But
Oof.
Brawl Brothers is fine. It's fine. There's like there's one of those maps I think that just like has a never-ending sewer tunnel or whatever, and I couldn't figure it out as a kid. And I was like really bummed by that. I was like, okay, I guess this was kind of worth it, but not worth the wait. That was mine.
I have two. Modern day No Man's Sky. I know they fixed it. I know it's a lot better, but like everyone at the time, I bought into the hype, and I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. It's
I
kind
knew
of
it was going to be
boring.
shit.
Yeah, it was kind of boring. All time, I remember renting a game called TNC Surf Designs on the NES.
Yeah, I
It
know
was
exactly
so
what you're talking
bad.
about.
Thank you, Caden. Thank you
I know
so
what
much.
you're talking about. Not a good game.
Yeah, I the only redeeming thing about it was I didn't buy it. I just rented it. So those are my two.
I mean,
Mine is I'm sure there's like a long list, but this is the first one that popped into my head was Recall. It's an Xbox exclusive that,
Yeah.
based on all the trailers and everything, really looked like Jet Force Gemini, and I that's the experience that I was expecting was a Jet Force Gemini like, but it gameplay wise was just quite repetitive and lacked a lot of polish. Like I think also at that point in time expecting a AAA game from Microsoft Studios, but that game felt a lot more AA, even felt indie. Just the quality was not there, so it was a game that I was very excited about, that when I played it, I was bored pretty fast. So that one was definitely disappointing.
Conceptually, it was cool too, with like the different types
Yeah.
of robots you could have and like
The
traversal
world.
and stuff, and the world, the kind of idea behind it. But you get to pretty quickly you get to like the end, basically right before the end boss. It's like a boss gate, and then you find out you have to do like a huge collectible like fetch quest,
Which is the
basically,
same as
to
Jet Force
open the
Gemini,
gate.
funnily
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Close. But yeah, I think that's where I dropped off. Like I got there and I was like, okay, like I'll get to this eventually, and I'll
I
just
didn't
like
finish it.
do a couple a night and get there. But I didn't ever finish it. I didn't have it in me, I guess, or just got distracted.
Yeah.
I have two as well. One is the Order 1886. Like the concept of it was amazing. I loved the lore around it and everything like that. But it's like $60, and I was kind of in and out in 4 hours. And
It
I
is
kinda,
really
like, felt-
short. I do really
I
like that game
felt-
though.
I like
Once
that.
you
I'd love to
remove
see
the
them-
price.
Yeah, if they move the price or revisit the concept and like really flesh things out a little bit more, I think there could have been more with it. It's just really just.
I really
This is very
hate that turret
disappointing.
sequence. I hate that turret sequence so much in that game. It just makes me so mad.
It was not that bad.
I love a lot of other things about that game. It's not just that turret sequence. It's like the history of turret sequences in the game, the era, the setting. It doesn't make sense for it to be there.
It's true,
The
it's
character
true.
arc right there really is stupid and sucks. It's like, I'm just all angry now. and
I love
vampire
Evan
blood or
being
whatever.
feisty.
Ugh.
The other one,
Could've
and
been
this
so
one will
much
probably like get me some hate too. The Witness. I hated it.
Never
Hayden,
played
what
it.
are you doing to me?
I own
No,
it, but I never
she's
played
right.
it.
It was such a. It's an okay. It's just this is all right. Everybody was just like, oh no, it's really great. And I'm just like, I played better puzzle games, better puzzle exploration games. This is so like
How much of it did you play?
the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Well, you
that's
played
fair.
the whole thing.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I
yeah, you
finished
played
it.
the whole thing. How do
It was
you
enough
dislike
that
it so
you
much?
did that.
Listen, I played it. It's like I love puzzles. I loved the puzzles in the game, but the framework and everything surrounding it was just like, this is just like Myst without the character.
Yeah, the world
fun.
is like, man,
It's nothing. The
as
puzzles
a puzzle
were fine.
game, I love it.
There's a
The
deep
puzzles were fine, but the rest of it, the whole like world of it is just like, yeah, it's all right, I guess.
There's a DJ
pretty.
Khaled bit in there that I really enjoyed. That's about it.
It's I have a really like personal relationship with that game where like that was I just moved to the US. I had pneumonia. And as a result, I was just super depressed because I had to spend 2 weeks at home, very, very sick.
In a brand new country, Jesus.
Yeah, and I didn't have insurance.
Oh.
It was a whole mess.
It's a
And
wonder you
so
The
survived here.
real
Yeah.
American
I really feel like I
Kidding.
survived because The Witness came out, and I had something that I like when I was like, on codeine, sleeping 15 hours a day. That was all I was doing in my waking hours because I couldn't really do anything. Like I legally wasn't allowed to drive anywhere because of the codeine. So I was just playing The Witness, and I genuinely feel like playing that game got me through that period of time because the sense of accomplishment from The Witness, because some of those puzzles are so difficult or so complex, was really satisfying, and I thank that game for getting me through a brutal
It's
illness.
funny you mentioned that. I had pneumonia, and I have those exact same feelings about Batman Arkham Knight. Like
Nice.
that was my entire thing, where it's like I was super like I was on codeine and I was taking. I was just like I was so like enamored with everything. It was so like it was my world for that entire like two and a half weeks. And
Codeine?
I have.
Oh, okay.
But like Batman Arkham Knight is like I think about it all the time because of like how much I play it consistently just because of how much I remember like it meaning to me at that time because I totally understand that.
That's a weird
you
one
like
too
The
because
Witness-
people dislike it the most. I feel like
It is my least favorite of the.
Arkham
That's
Origins
the
was
one-
the Arkham Origins. No,
I like Origins more than Night.
no. How dare
Arkham
you.
Knight's the one with the Batmobile, right? The
Yes.
most recent one?
Yes.
Okay. I never played that one.
The
I played,
non-lethal
I
Batman.
played City
Yes.
and I liked it.
The non-lethal bat.
very non-lethal.
Which is ridiculous. You can run people over.
It's a
That
tank.
taser is killing
Look, it's
people.
fine.
It's a
Electrical
very
field
mobile
that stops
tank.
them. It's fine. Don't worry.
The
about
wheels
it.
have a healing
The
salve
G-force
on them.
alarm.
As you hit them, it just fixes them.
Got it. Yeah. Everyone's fine.
They hit for plus 50 HP.
It's a safety thing. Really. It's for your own good.
Yeah. It's pleasurable, actually.
All right, that's all the time we've got for you this week. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Terrible because, by the end of playing it for probably even an hour, I enjoyed it. It's hard to compete in that space anyway, because the juggernauts there are so juggernauty.
Right, you could just play Battleborn.
Or
You could just play Battleborn.
Yes. Or Lawbreakers. Come on.
yeah.
Lawbreakers.
There's just a lot of competition.
Paragon.